Today I'm going to talk about suggesting reviewers. Sometimes the editor of the journal will allow you to suggest a potential reviewer to look at your paper. Now, this is a very good opportunity for you because research shows that reviewers you suggest are more likely to say yes than reviewers that the editor suggests. I'll look at that study again with you in a moment. But first, if you are given the choice to choose your reviewer, who should you suggest? Well, suggest researchers whose hypothesis and ideas your work supports. Basically, people who already agree with you and your hypothesis and general theory are going to be more positively inclined, more likely to recommend acceptance of ideas they already have. Or if you build on someone else's work, especially in a positive way, that's a positive citation for that scholar, and he's going to hopefully be positively impressed by your extension of his work. Or your friends from the conference. You meet nice people at the conference, or maybe you worked with them before on previous papers and they're very connected to your field. They're likely to say yes. They're likely to accept your paper. Suggest those. Now, don't suggest, this is maybe more important than suggesting, but don't suggest researchers working on the same research problem, because there is going to be some hesitancy for that reviewer to accept your paper. He may think that if you publish your paper, he will not be able to publish his. That's a conflict of interest. Not only that, but he may learn something important from your paper when he rejects it that he might consciously or subconsciously integrate into his own. Again, a conflict of interest. So this is someone you do not want to be working as a reviewer on your paper. In fact, I'm going to speak about this in a moment, but you might even tell the editor to make this a non-reviewer, someone who you do not want to be your reviewer. Tell him there's a conflict of interest. Editors generally are respectful of non-reviewers. Now, suggesting someone to be a reviewer he may or may not accept, but the non-reviewers, editors often will follow because they understand these conflicts of interest. Also, don't suggest reviewers whose work is refuted by your own study. If you show that someone is wrong, if you disprove someone's work, they may have motivation to defend their baby, to defend their paper. And even if you're right, they may not welcome your contribution because you prove to his domain that he was wrong. And also, don't suggest reviewers whose theories and ideas go against your own or the findings of your manuscript. These reviewers probably have a totally different perspective, a totally different theory on big questions in your domain. And since they don't agree with your basic theories or principles, they're unlikely to accept your paper. Now, some interesting studies have been done on whether you should recommend a reviewer or the editor, and what the difference is in the acceptance rate. And what we know is that the reviewers you choose are more likely to say yes to your paper than the reviewers that the editor chooses. We also know from another study that if you tell the editor who not to be a reviewer, we call it non-reviewer, this will help you even more than nominating a reviewer, because you understand those scholars who have a conflict of interest with you. You know those scholars who are maybe competing with you for a job or for funding and might recognize your work and reject you for that reason. So you can tell your editor about conflicts of interest, and he will generally respect that and help you avoid reviewers who have, again, a strong reason to reject you. For more information about how Taiwanese scholars can publish in international journals, visit my blog, editing.tw/blog. I have articles and videos about how Taiwanese scholars can publish more effectively in international journals. I also have editing and translation service for Taiwanese scholars who are preparing manuscripts to publish. And you can visit our site, editing.tw, to find out more about that. Thank you for joining us.